There was a really great op-ed published in USA Today this past weekend by Rex Hupke. And my apologies if that's not how you pronounce that name. I'm sorry. But anyway, so Rex writes this op-ed with a great title. It says, "Is Trump in mental decline? He sounds far worse than Biden ever did." So right off the bat caught my attention because I firmly believe that as well. And Rex talks about the fact that obviously, yeah, Biden had mental decline. Okay, you can't deny that anymore. We all saw it in the debate. And then after the debate, it was kind of a full-on show. All right, we never saw the end of it. There were a couple times, obviously, where he didn't sound like he was in decline, but for the most part, it was very visible. He still seemed sharp. He could still name names most of the time, not all the time. But yeah, guy was super old, and it was starting to show. Trump, on the other hand, is just downright insane. But it's not just the craziness. It is also the cognitive decline. It is the psychological issues. It's the neurological issues. It's everything. And here's the thing. If Biden had done any one of the things that Donald Trump has done, let's just say in the last 2 weeks, what if President Biden had tweeted out a photo of him as the Pope? Well, Republicans would have already been calling for his immediate removal. Suppose Biden had defied the Supreme Court. Well, we'd probably have conservatives storming the White House, right? I mean, if Biden had done any of these things that Donald Trump consistently does, if Biden had gone out there and said, well, maybe the kids are going to have $2 instead of 30. Maybe your beautiful daughters, 11-year-old beautiful daughters, because he said beautiful, maybe they don't need 250 pencils, maybe they need 5 pencils. You would have had Republicans screaming at the top of their lungs, holy hell, we have to use the 25th Amendment because this guy's too crazy to do the job. And yet, these are all things we've seen from Trump since he took office, most of them in the last week. But Rex points out a couple other things that really show that Donald Trump is in serious mental decline. One of them was this exchange he had in that recent Time magazine interview. He said, if this were Biden, well, first of all, he wouldn't do an interview because he was grossly incompetent. And the Time reporter said, we spoke to him last year, Mr. President. And Trump goes, huh? And Time goes, we spoke to him a year ago. Trump says, how did it go? They respond, you can read the interview yourself. And then Trump says, after asking like, well, how did it go? Trump then says like, not too good. I did read the interview. He didn't do well. You didn't even know it happened. And then you asked how it went. And then when they said, just go read it, you're like, oh, well, actually, I did read it. I remember everything about it and it was horrible. He's a liar. But the way in which he lies, that is the psychosis. That is the mental problem. You literally just admitted you had no idea it happened. And then you're like, actually, I did read it and I hated it, every second of it. No, you didn't. You're insane. Another instance. A reporter aboard Air Force One says, there was a car bomb in Moscow this morning, killed a Russian general. Do you have any reaction to that? Who killed what? Trump says. Russian general killed by a car bomb. Wow, no, I just heard. You're just telling me that for the first time. Where did this take place? He asked. And again, in case you forgot, they started it with a car bomb in Moscow. Russian general. Well, no, I've just now heard about it. In fact, I heard about it from you just now. That's kind of crazy that happens. This man's cognitive decline, coupled with his mental issues, which Biden did not have, are far worse than what we saw with Biden. With Biden, it took 3.5 years, okay, before everybody could see it clear as day. I'm not saying it wasn't there before. I'm not saying there weren't signs before, but this isn't about Biden. Biden's gone. Trump is in office right now, and he's only 105, 106 days into it, okay? He's got a long time left, and his brain is already shot. Nothing left of it. There are no cohesive thoughts in there. There's no any kind of real mental faculties. It's just a crazy old man who makes stuff up every day because his mental issues, his narcissism, forces him to make these things up, and he's been doing it so long that he's now living in an alternative reality. That is a mental issue. And I do believe, obviously, there's neurological issues as well. Possible actual degeneration, possible dementia, possible Alzheimer's. There's all kinds of things that could be happening in there. I don't know which one it is, but I would put every dollar I've ever earned on one of those things at least happening inside his head today. But here is how Rex concludes the article. This man's brain is filled with spiders. He seems to, at best, have one toe planted in reality. So where, I ask, is the fury? Where are the hours upon hours of Fox News coverage? Where is the extensive New York Times coverage? Trump's brain melt gets a pass for reasons I'll never understand. None of this is in defense of Biden. I'm all for younger, sharper minds leading the country, but Trump isn't younger or sharper. If we're being honest, this aging president is barely making sense at all. And I think that's a bigger point too. There have been articles, we're in Tuesday of this week, there have been articles that have come out this week about President Biden's mental decline. This week! Right? 106, 107 days after Biden was gone from office, we're still getting articles about it. Meanwhile, the guy actually in the White House, the guy that has the current nuclear codes, his brain, as Rex points out, is filled with spiders. There is something clinically wrong with him, and the media barely makes a peep. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform. That, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.